Thanks, Morgan.
Thank you. And just to be clear, I will be going through the slideshow, but all credit for slideshow creation goes to Jackie. I had nothing to do with the creation of this slideshow. In fact, I only really just saw it 20 minutes ago. So forgive me. We're going to go through this quickly. If you have questions about specific projects, there are a number of other staff here, so feel free to use the chat to ask any questions you might have, and there might be one of the staff members can answer those for you, but we will also have some time at the end for questions. And you can also find out all about these projects online. If you go to our new Volunteer Hub website, you can find the descriptions for these projects and sign up. It's really pretty smooth and seamless now. And Anne-Marie's gonna, like she said, she's gonna go through that and show you all how to do it. So we'll just get started. Welcome to Team Night 2021. So first, right off the bat, the next thing we have coming up in a couple of weekends is our Wildlands University. And then we have 2 dates for those. So there's March 13th and 14th and the 27th and 28th. And those projects or trainings, I should say, are actually nearly full. So if you're hoping to sign up for one of those or retrain into a new role, you'll want to get on that very soon. I think they may, in fact, I think some of those days are already full. So we have gotten a huge amount of people signing up for trainings this year, which is really, really awesome. And then for all of you who are really looking forward to technical trainings, we've got some fire restoration trainings. You can imagine, I imagine you can guess why. And then we've got more chainsaw trainings, crosscut trainings, and then rigging and rock skills, which I really feel like we should call rock and don't roll, maybe. So we've got, I need to actually get these. Hang on one moment, I'm gonna minimize all these faces because it's blocking the slideshow for me. So we actually have a whole bunch of opportunities to go up to Rocky Mountain National Park this year. We're going to be kicking those off April 16th and 17th with restoration of a fire line. We had very similar to anybody who was on the project a few years ago doing the water line restoration. It's going to be a similar project, but in this case, we'll be reseeding and putting mulch down on a fire line that had to be cut because the fires went right into Rocky Mountain National Park. Probably a lot of you have seen the pictures of that. And then we're going to be doing some more beaver projects, which are willow planting projects. We've got one on May 7th, and then October we have another overnight project. And then there'll also be a seed collection project up there on August 20th. So lots of opportunities to hang out in Rocky Mountain National Park this year. We also have a whole bunch of projects this year that we're going to be doing with the city of Longmont. We've got a big agreement in place with them that was funded through GoCo. And we have, I think, 18 different projects to choose from this year, and we'll have some more next year as well. They're everything from protecting trees from beavers to planting trees to installing prairie dog fences and seed collections and trail projects. We've got a whole bunch of different opportunities to work with the city of Longmont this year. So some of those early projects are going to be tree planting at Dickens Farm, which is off of Maine near Ken Pratt for anybody who's in the Longmont area, and then Lake McIntosh. The beavers on the St. Vrain projects, those are going to be painting the bottoms of native trees with a mixture to prevent beavers from eating them. Not actually, introducing beavers or anything, but we're going to be protecting trees from beavers. Prairie dog projects is going to be installing some fencing in a couple of areas to prevent prairie dogs from expanding into areas where they would just come into conflict. We've also have Heil Ranch fire restoration. That's going to be in the Calwood fire area. Those are not with the city of Longmont, but there are lots of opportunities to do fire restoration this year, as you might imagine, with so many burned areas. We also are significantly scaling up our sage-grouse restoration projects this year. So for anyone who's been on those in the past, they're a little bit longer, usually 4 days, and involve a lot of heavy lifting of rocks and building some really, really cool, innovative erosion control structures. So usually we've done one of these in the past, typically in Gunnison. This year, we're actually going to be doing 4 of these projects. So one in Gunnison, two in the two in the Moffat County area where we were last year near Craig, Colorado. And then we also are doing a new one in the North Park area, which is going to be a little bit closer to all you guys, all you folks up in the Fort Collins area. It's just over the pass. So we'll have lots of opportunities to learn about those projects and do some great work. They're always really popular. We will also be returning to the side of our now infamous boardwalk, which is up in Fairplay, to finish up the trail on either end of the boardwalk. The boardwalk itself, there may be some opportunities midweek to help Paul with that, but most of the boardwalk construction will not be opened up to the public. We're going to be doing some trail projects there, but the boardwalk is going to be kind of an ongoing project for our wonderful and singular volunteer, Paul Liscombe, who's almost single-handedly engineered and built just an enormous boardwalk up in Fairplay. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. And just so we're clear, I'm not going through all the dates because you can see these, you can find them on our website also. They're all up to date. For those of you up in the north area, Fort Collins, we're going to be doing some Campbell Valley projects, of course. Some coming up soon, some in the fall. We don't have those dates just scheduled just yet, but we will soon, so keep checking back. And then we'll also be doing some more projects in the Pawnee Grasslands area for anyone who's been out there. Those are really spectacular place to work. And we will also be continuing what was a pilot project for us last year, doing some pollinator plantings on farms in the Boulder County area. So we're really trying to improve pollinator habitat on farms. We're calling that our restoration agriculture program. So we're going to have a bunch of dates, I think 8 different projects to choose from once those dates are firmed up. And we'll be returning to Summit Lake, which is kind of an adoptive site for us. I think we've been going there for now 10 years. Kevin told me right before this. So we'll be returning to Summit Lake in August, as well as doing a seed collection there in September. Always a really great project and an awesome way to see a super spectacular alpine lake. I actually went there for the very first time myself last year. I'd never met there. Switching over from habitats to rivers, we're going to have a whole bunch of planting projects to be scheduled on the Poudre River. And then there will also be some opportunities to help out with hand watering of those plantings after the fact. The St. Vrain River cleanups are part of our series of projects in Longmont. We're going to have some of those in April, August, and October. And those are pretty chill, half day walking along the river, cleaning up garbage, and then you get free beer afterwards at the Left Hand Brewery, so that's a perk. And we're going to be adding some projects as well at the Prairie Ridge site in Loveland, which will be wetland restoration. We may also be adding a training there at some point in the near future. The Cameron Peak Fire, obviously an enormous fire, lots of work to be done up there. So we'll be adding a whole bunch of forestry and restoration projects in that area to help out with the recovery. You'll have to check back for those dates. Cedar Creek, also forestry projects in apparently May. I'm not sure why we have fancy transitions here. And then these Greeley Russian olive removal projects, also for you sawyers out there. Those will be in September and October. And then switching over to trails. I know many of you are serious trail buffs, so we'll be returning to our 14ers, Mount Elbert, as well as Grays and Torreys in July. Those have been some really popular and super spectacular projects for the views. So those will be really awesome and probably very popular. We're going to have, again, as has become a bit of a trend in the past few years, we're going to have another few projects up in the Indian Peaks Wilderness doing trail work. I believe these will not be back. Well, there was something about llamas. I know a lot of people really like llamas. I think that they will not be involving llamas this year, unfortunately, but maybe we can get a llama out there just for fun. I don't know. So we're going to have projects in the Indian Peaks in July and August for those of you who love that area. There'll be some trail projects up in the Breckenridge Peaks area, as well as Elephant Butte, which is, I believe, a Denver Mountain Parks project area. That's kind of South Denver area, I think. And then Hanging Lake will be a really awesome project that's way out by Glenwood Springs, helping to restore some trail there in and around the burn area that was in that area. Hanging Lake fortunately did not burn. but a lot of the area around it did. And then, of course, for you folks who've been learning how to use the crosscut saws, we'll have some crosscut saw clearing projects in the South San Juans, as well as Grand Lake and around the Dillon Ranger District area. Again, those are generally summer projects, but those are pretty cool. I'd like to learn how to do that myself. We've got more projects in the Red Feather Lakes area, as well as Cameron Peak, again, doing trail stuff. Lots of trail projects to choose from this year. And of course, we'll have our native seeds for all of you seed buffs out there. Those projects, as those of you who've done native seed projects in the past, you know that they are typically scheduled close to, because it's difficult to predict when the seeds are going to be ripe. So you'll have to stay tuned. And if you want to be on a list for getting alerted for those, you'll just want to talk to Amy about that. So we'll have seed collection projects in the city and county of Boulder, as well as Longmont and Jefferson County. And they will be announced as they're scheduled. And for all of you weed warriors, we have one myrtle spurge project coming up this weekend, which had to be rescheduled once because the ground was still frozen. We're getting an early start on the spurge this year. So we've got one in March, on March 6th, and then another coming up on March 27th. There will be one April 7th as well. And we're going to be scheduling a handful more of those. So stay tuned if you really want to kill some nasty weeds. Let's see. And then we're going to have some more Russian olive removal projects with the city of Longmont as well. Those will be small. So these are not Sawyer projects. These will be cutting smaller resprouts. So they're a little bit more accessible if you haven't yet learned how to use a chainsaw. And of course, our youth and families projects, there's going to be more of those to choose from. There'll be more added throughout the course of the summer. These are projects that we're in particular looking for crew leaders to help out with. We typically have groups lined up for these projects, but there will be a bunch more family-friendly projects as well that will get added to our calendar as we go along. So for those of you who have children who want to come out on projects too, we're going to try to make as many opportunities for you.
What about Mediterranean sage?
We are actually not doing any Mediterranean sage projects this year. Let's stop this. Unfortunately, yeah, our partners have decided that we've just killed so much Mediterranean sage over the last, I think, 16 years now that we've been doing Mediterranean sage, that it's just getting harder and harder to find the plants, and they have enough capacity in their own crews to take care of those. So we're actually refocusing our efforts to do more myrtle spurge. And that's it for our slideshow. So if anybody has any more questions, I am happy to answer questions.
For the to be a Sawyer, do we need to get like certified through you guys to use
yes.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah. So
if you have a Forest Service certification, if you've been certified as S212 before for chainsaw, and then I don't actually know the certification number for crosscut. If you can provide those current certifications to us, we can add you as a Sawyer. But we go with the Forest Service standard as well.
So if we get certified through you guys, is that a S212 also?
Yes.
Cool.
Those fill up really fast. Last year, the first two filled up in about 12 hours. So there are a few spaces left. So you heard it here first. Get on that list, and then definitely sign up for the wait list if they're full, because the wait list will automatically let you in. And if you're on the wait list, you're the first to find out about additional dates that we add.
Is that on the same link to sign up for volunteering?
Yes. Trainings are there as well.
Yep. And there's a way to sort for training programs. Mm-hmm. And we'll show you that in a little bit.
Hey Morgan, how far is it to the site on the Cameron Peak projects? Like, say from like downtown Denver, how many, or downtown Boulder, how far is it that the work sites will be?
Jeffrey, do you know the answer to that? I don't know. Nate is not with us. I think Nate's the only one who could answer that question.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It's far.
Okay.
That's as specific as I can get.
All right.
I do not know the answer to that one, unfortunately. There might be details on the project description online. Kevin's probably checking that right now.
No, there aren't. Those locations are still being identified. It's a long process with the federal bear report. So we have a map of all of the watersheds that are most in danger of moving if they get wet. So we will be doing a lot of erosion control on those really vulnerable gullies and watersheds. So we have a map, and we're in the process now of identifying the specific locations.
Okay. But I guess generally speaking, is it north of Rocky Mountain National Park, south?
Yeah, the Cameron Peak fire burned north of Rocky Mountain National Park. So it will be, you would access it via the Poudre Canyon, so Highway 114. So like from downtown Denver, you're talking like probably 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
On the Cameron Peak project, so are we going to be working on Forest Service land or on private property typically?
So those will mostly be on private property. And the reason is that the Forest Service mostly wants to take care of their own things. So it's a lot of the private land. About half of the fire was on private land. So there's a really big need to treat a lot of the forested land that is in private hands. Also for us, the red tape is a lot less to go onto private lands.
Beginner Sawyer trainings.
So we had a question about the beginner Sawyer trainings. They are multi-day. They are 3 days, not 4 days now. They start in the classroom and then end with field time.
Okay, I just got confused because it said April 9th and 30th, and that was kind of a little misleading, I guess, because yeah, usually they have workday components which require vacation time. So that's why I was like, oh, well, you know, I could sign up for it if it's 1 day, but I don't know then if that meets the requirements.
Sorry about that. So we've been building this slideshow, but we've been confirming project dates up until the very last minute here. So there were a few dates in the slideshow that I was adding in the full range to. They had just had a start day on them. So some of them didn't get fully updated. I apologize for that. But the dates that are on our website are up to date and accurate. So if you have any questions about those project dates or training dates, all of that information is accurate on our website.
The new one, the volunteerhub.com.
Yeah, which you can get to through WLRV.org.
Okay. And so you said they are 3 day now. Is that 2 weekend days and 1 work day, or is that 2 work days and a weekend day?
It's 1 work day, I think.
1 work day.
Looks like it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1 vacation day, not 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do those trainings cost anything?
So for the S212 chainsaw training, there is a deposit to hold your spot, but then upon completing the course and 2 practice days on WRV project, you're mentored. You get your certification at the end of the mentor period, and you do get your deposit returned.
Great questions, everybody.
Yeah, and we had a great question from someone that asked, you know, they did their crew leader training last season, but due to COVID, they weren't able to complete their time as a trainee. You do not need to retrain. You can sign up directly as a trainee this season. If you want a refresher in anything, that's fine, because a year is a long time to wait before practicing. And you can mentor as a trainee as many times as you need. If you would like to take the training again, that is fine as well. And you can reach out to us about attending and not paying the full fee. So if you're interested, just you could email, you know, myself or Rachel, who runs our training program.
I had a quick question, and I think you guys are going to be talking about this in a little bit, but I was wondering if I took this crew leader training years ago, and I've been away at school and actually coming home over the summer, so I'll be like wanting to be a part of projects and whatnot. I know that you're saying that you're going to be putting like old data and kind of like meshing our, what is that called? Profiles or whatever, to then be able to sign up and whatnot. I'm just wondering, how exactly are you doing that, and how do we make sure that it gets done properly? Because I think mine's like under my mother's name and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm kind of a fun mess. So
Sierra, for your and this goes for everyone, if you do have questions, you can definitely email me specifically if you need to check on your account. And then if it seems like maybe it was under your mom's name, we can look up her records.
Yeah, it should be under her email.
Yeah, but all of those records, I haven't seen the notification come through yet, are being imported and merged right now into the new system. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, there's been a bunch of questions about food. So I thought maybe I would speak to that for just a second.
Yeah, thank you.
After asking everybody to be patient with us for a whole season last year, we've decided to bring food back on overnight projects this season. It's going to look a little bit different. Things for the most part will be prepped ahead of time in our new kitchen at the Collier Street building. So we'll be looking for people to volunteer to come in to the office and work a shift in the kitchen to prep things ahead of time. And we'll make things that'll be really easy to reheat in the field, and so that we can do it without large cook crews and without needing to gather a whole bunch of people into a small space. That said, the food is mostly coming back on the overnight projects. Single day projects, we will be providing some snacks, but not lunches. So you'll be on your own for lunches on the single day projects, unless there's a special circumstance on that particular project.
So we did have a frowning face that said, so no backcountry cooks?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
So some of the multi-day projects will have slots for cooks. There'll be, in general, the cook crews will be maybe a little bit smaller. But the hope is that you won't have to be prepping as much from scratch in the field. So just look at each particular project, and if it has a slot to sign up as a cook, you can sign up as a cook.
I did some quick signing up today, and I did sign up for some of the overnight stuff, but it didn't offer the option. It was like crew leader or everybody else. So I wasn't, that's kind of what made it confusing.
Right. So in order for those roles to show up when you register, volunteers need to be added to, wow, I just said added to the cook group by a staff member. So if it doesn't show up for you, if that option doesn't show up for you, reach out to a staff member, either the whistle on that project or me, or probably Anne-Marie. And we can add you to that user group for that option, or we can just sign you up as a cook on a particular project.
And I guess related to that, I had a question, but I thought maybe y'all would address it in the second half about the new online thing. But so historically, you have not been able to sign up for leadership positions through the online portal. Has that changed? Are you able to see and sign up for leadership positions now in the same way that you would be able to sign up for the project as a crew member? And then if so, does it, since the records haven't been uploaded yet, like how does it know if you've taken the training and can actually sign up for that position and like all that jazz?
So this may be a good time for us to actually transition to that, Nicole. So thank you for the introduction. All of those questions are what I'm going to review when I go through the Volunteer Hub training. There was one question from Glenn in the chat that is good to note before we move on. And at the end of this, I'm going to be available for questions if you guys want to shout at each other through Zoom and say hi and tell bad jokes and things like that. That's great. So we have plenty of time for questions. But before we move on, Glenn asked, as we add new events, are you going to get notified? We won't send out an email every single time we add a new event. However, our project digest will highlight a lot of the new events that are coming out and that are added to the system. Most of the seed dates, like if there's, you know, City of Longmont seed dates are not in there, those will all get added in one big lump. So we'll say, hey, you know, the dates for the City of Longmont seeding projects are open, or the Pawnee Grasslands projects are set. And so you'll see those highlighted in the project details. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is move on. I'm going to do a screen share, and I'm going to take you through all of Nicole's questions. So right now, as we speak, some of you may have, you know, gotten an invitation email from volunteerhub.com. If you saw that, that is not a spam, that is us, in fact, and you can click on that, and that means that we imported your records. If you already happen to sign up for a training this year and already created a new account in Volunteer Hub, we are importing your data and attaching it to your new account. So if you don't get that invitation email, you can just go back into Volunteer Hub, use the account that you created, and you should see some new leader roles available. Now, that being said, our data is not perfect, and we may have a couple mistakes. So like Heather, you were asking and saying like, oh, I couldn't sign up for a cook role. If you've been doing the cook role over and over and over again, and you took the training and we just didn't happen to get that record transferred correctly, just shoot us an email. If you want to go to a project and you don't see crew leader spaces available, you can just go ahead and register and then give us a note, and then we'll check your records. And anytime you guys want, you can email info@wlrv.org. You can email me directly as well, Anne Marie at WLRV.org. And we're happy to make sure that those records are correct. Because as Nicole asked, you can directly sign up for leader roles. So I'm going to share my screen. So if everyone could stay muted while we're going through this, it should take about 10 minutes to show you this. And then we'll pause again for questions about projects and the database. And we have a couple folks that'll monitor the chat while I'm speaking, so go ahead and drop them in there as we go. And Kevin and Morgan, if you're monitoring the chat and I need to pause or go back, just let me know. Okay. This is super exciting, everybody, by the way. We've been working on this for a while and we are really pumped to get the season started. Okay, so make sure I'm good on time. All right, so this is our website. Everyone has been there before. You can access our new calendar, same way you would access the old one, going to the Volunteer Now button. And this is what our new calendar looks like. It is very user-friendly and pretty intuitive, but I'm just going to take you through a couple pieces to make sure that you know how to navigate it. So first of all, the calendar here has a bunch of different search features. If you ever want to come back to the main calendar, you can click on all events or our logo at any time. I would recommend signing into the site whenever you are here. The reason why is because you'll see a lot better features in this system. So now you can also go to events. You'll see my schedule, which is going to be customized for you. And then over here, you can also make changes to your profile. You can go in, change your username. If you're willing, we would encourage you to fill out your demographic information, your preferred pronouns. That's really going to help us stay accountable for our diversity, equity, and inclusiveness goals. You can go in and manage affiliations and decide, you know what? I just took a Wilderness First Responder course. I want to go ahead and get some information about being a first aid volunteer on this project. You can also go in here and change your notification settings. This is very important. We will start sending out project details, directions, and thank yous through here. So we do encourage you to keep that checked. If you get too many emails, you could always uncheck the newsletters and announcements. If you unsubscribe from everything, it will mean that you don't get the project announcements. Okay, so here in our calendar, sorry, I'm going to try to scroll slowly because I know it gets a little wonky if you're watching. But there are two pieces to the calendar. One is kind of this dashboard where you can search by habitat projects, and you'll see this banner change down here. You can search for projects that are related to fire. And you'll also see that this screen up here changes. There will be some information specific to fire in this white window up here. If you scroll down below that window, you'll start to see the lists of events. So it will actually show the first day of the project over here, just like Nicole was asking if the chainsaw events were 3 days. You can also switch to the calendar and list view over here. Personally, I really prefer the list view because this one doesn't really give me much option. So I'm going to stay in the list view for my demo tonight. If you want to return to the main page, you can go to all events, like I said. If you want to hang out in Northern Colorado or do camping projects only, or maybe spend a lot of time in the mountains this year, or, you know, the easier projects, physically easier, are a little bit more of your style, you can search all of those filters by clicking on these active links. The leader grid is right here. If I click on that, you're going to see coming soon. This takes a lot of really fancy computer magic, and we need to finish some of that before we can launch the leader grid live, but that will be linked in here. That leader grid, for anyone who's a trainee or a new leader, will show you who is signed up for which projects and where all of the openings are as an overview for the entire season, so that you don't have to go into each event to look for those leader roles. So if I go down, I'm just scrolling down below that window. I see all of the events. That's a little overwhelming. So let's say that habitat projects are my favorite events. I go to my habitat projects. There are two scroll bars. One is going to scroll you through information about our habitats program. It's going to tell you some of the staff that work on it, the focus, our partners, and then also a few cool video links that we have over the years. You'll want to go to the right-hand side to scroll down, or on mobile, just keep scrolling, it'll go for you. And this is a great way to easily register for an event, okay? So let's say I wanted to sign up for Wildlands University crew leader training on this date. Well, unfortunately, it's waitlisted. There's a couple of things you can do. Click on more. That's going to take you into this project. You'll get a full description, location. The coolest part is if you scroll all the way down and you're signed into this event, you're going to see all the other trainees that are signed up. We're really excited to bring this to our community. If you are a registered crew leader or trained crew leader with us, you'll also see crew leader right here, and you'll see who else is signed up. You do need to be a member of that group to see who is signed up. So if you're not a crew leader yet, that's just another incentive to take the training so that you can see who else is crew leading. I'm going to go back up. In this project area, we will be updating these maps of where those locations are as we get exact locations. If you have a question about the project before signing up, you can email directly to the WRV staff person who's going to be managing that event within each event. So let's say that you're really excited and you're like, you know what, I'm going to join the wait list because maybe someone will cancel. Join the wait list, click next. It's super easy. It's going to tell you that you right now are waitlisted on this project. If you made a mistake, you can immediately cancel. So I'm going to go back to the events, and I'm going to show you how to sign up for, what is the next event on my list? I'm going to show you how to sign up as a crew member or as a sawyer on a project. So let's go to our trails projects. Once again, I'm here in this window. I can learn some more information about our trails, or I can go over here and scroll down into the trails events. So sorry if this is going to make you a little sick to your stomach. I just need to find the right event. Okay, so this one looks great. Red Feather Lakes Trails Projects, Saturday, June 19th to Sunday, June 20th. So that's where you're going to see the 2 and 3 day events in our calendar. It's harder to see 2 and 3 day events when you're in the calendar view. This is the list view. I can see that there are 2 openings remaining for this project. I'm going to click on more. Again, you'll see the description. If you scroll down, you can see other events in trails, other events in Northern Colorado. Who knows, maybe this one's filled up and you just want to check out others that are like it. Down here in this Who's Coming section again, we have crew leaders here. I am registered in our system as a crew leader and a project leader. So I'm going to be able to see who's signed up as project leaders, who else is signed up as crew leaders, and who here is signed up to attend the project as a crew member. If I was a leader and I wanted to see the entire leader team, this is another link to that goofy page that will be updated next week for you. That's where the leader grid is going to be. And when we send out the thank you for attending tonight, we will include a link to the leader grid so you can always bookmark that for yourself. So once again, on this event, we have Nate here, who is the contact. I can directly email him. This sounds like an awesome project. I want to go help repair trails up in Cameron Peak. I'm going to sign up. Looky here. Okay, this is awesome. We are so excited about this, everybody. So you can, just like Nicole asked, if you are a crew leader and there are crew leader spaces available, you will see those available right here. If you're a project leader, you could sign up like that. If the crew leader spaces were full, it would say full, none available next to the crew leader. But let's say you want to be that backup crew leader just in case someone, you know, their dog gets sick before the project, or, you know, they have to do a COVID quarantine because they had a possible exposure and another crew leader cancels. We still would love to have backup crew leaders. So this none of the above, which is an awful name, those are just the regular crew leader spots. So I've got 2 slots available. I'm going to go ahead and sign up to be a crew member on this project. So now that I've completed my registration for this project, I can add it to my calendar. Tells me that you're holding my spot, which is wonderful. It's going to give me details of the project. And once again, we can see who's on the project. I'm now here, I can cancel. And when I look down here, there I am. Very cool. So let's say, whoops, I didn't actually want to attend that event and I found a better one. Our system won't let you register for 2 events on the same day. So the nice thing is that you can't accidentally double book yourself in our system. But let's say I found another project the same weekend and it sounds better. I can just cancel the registration. Do you want to cancel? Yep. There you go. Nice and easy. Okay. I'm going to do one more example for you for our trainees, and then I'm going to show you how to view your entire schedule for the season. So habitats, I know that we have some trainee spaces open in our Rocky project. So sorry about the scrolling. Bear with me a moment. Okay. Oops, it's waitlist only. I gotta go to the next one. Okay, I think there there might be trainees on this event. Nope. Dang it. All my sample projects got filled up. Okay, so I can show you the wait list here. So any project that allows you to register with more than one person will give you this option of the party size when you register. Overall, most of our events right now will only let you register for one person if it's a training or an overnight event, because we really like everyone to get all of the information. Again, if you want to sign up as a leader, you can only do that as one person. So your guest would have to register themselves. But here you could join the wait list with 1 or 2 people. And I would encourage you to join the wait list when you would like to come to a project, because if someone else cancels, you will get an automatic notification for that. I am just trying to look at an event that I know I'm going to have crew leader trainees open. Maybe on this one. Oh, I'm striking out, you guys. Okay, so here's an example of a leader role that would be full. If you are a project leader and you would like to go to an event, you can still go. You can still go as a crew member, or you could be a backup crew leader. Better yet, you could check the leader grid and see if we need a project leader at another event. Kevin, can you think of a project that you know I have a trainee on? We have a lot of them, and I don't know why I can't find any of them right now.
You're looking for an opening, or you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for an opening for a crew leader trainee. And I should be in that user group because I could see it earlier today when I was building my demo. So while we're looking, just to let you know, if you are a crew leader, tool manager, or a cook team member who needs to do your training or finish your training by mentoring out on a project, you will be added to a trainee crew leader role or a trainee tool manager role. And we will be sharing those with you. And that way you can sign up as a trainee directly on a project ahead of time. If you can't find an opening, you can email us to find out what openings remain. We may also be able to add you to a project that has crew leader trainees that are full. If you need to sign up for one of those, we do encourage you not to wait to the last minute, because those project training roles will expire a week before the event to make sure that we don't have anyone on the wait list. If you're a project leader or a technical advisor, we want you to sign up about a month in advance so that you get the full mentorship. And for those roles, we are going to reach out to you personally to help you complete your training. We don't have those open yet. So I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we'll open it up to questions because I know the chat box is going crazy. So I've signed up for a few projects already. If you go to the top menu where your profile was, click on My Schedule. This is going to give you an at a glance view of what you are registered for if you are on the wait list or you were confirmed for that project. So right now, I'm waitlisted on 2 events, okay? That's okay. Maybe I'll get into one of them. If you were registered here, it would just have a big green check mark for you. Now, you will be getting emails about these events, okay? So you can see in here that I have some emails from Wildlands Restoration Volunteers, event registration complete. So I could go into one of these and look. So, oh, darn it, I was waitlisted for the Restoration Crew Leader 2 training. If you signed up as a crew leader, it would show you attendee, crew leader, Anne Marie, so that you could know that you were signed up as a crew leader. If you decided, you know what, I'd rather just jump on this other project that's open, you can cancel directly from your registration link. Takes you right back to the website, click next, and you're canceled. So now I could look up here in my schedule and I only see my one event left. So it's a nice, easy system. If you like the day planner style, you can switch over in your schedule, if you prefer, to the calendar view as well. And this will only show you projects that you are registered or on the wait list for. Okay, that was a lot of stuff. We have a lot of questions in the chat. Morgan and Kevin, do we need to address any of these for the whole group?
We've been addressing them a little bit as we go along in the chat. So if you had a question that you put in the chat box that we missed and we have not addressed, you might just unmute yourself and ask that right now. I'm trying to keep up, but it's a lot of messages.
Hi, this is Laura. This is not in the chat, but I just want to make sure that I did this correctly. So I'm signed up for the crew leader training on, it's either March 13th or 14th, one of the days that weekend. And then I just went to look for other opportunities, and there was a crew leader trainee opportunity on April 17th for Cameron Peak Fire Restoration 1. So I signed up for that. And is that the right thing to do? So after you go through the training, then you serve as a trainee?
Laura, thank you. That was a perfect explanation. We will be making sure that you are put into those trainee roles. So if you need to complete your mentoring because you trained last year and couldn't due to COVID, or you're a new trainee for this year, that is the second step in our process. So first, you come to your Wildlands restoration training. Second, you find a trainee role in the system and you register for that training. Then we will match you up with a leader during that event and have you chat with them beforehand. You mentor for that day. You discuss it with the leader that you worked with and the staff on the project. If you feel comfortable and the staff feel you've got it, Laura, then they will graduate you as a leader. And then we will go ahead and move you into the crew leader group in our database. And then you will be able to see the crew leader roles that you can sign up for. If you want to mentor another time or two because you just didn't feel comfortable leading a group yet, you can continue signing up for trainee roles.
Okay. And is it okay just to sign up for regular volunteer roles too, if you are a trainee or a crew leader?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We even let our staff do it too.
I thought David Swartz had a good question. If he signs up with a +1, I think his question was, when you sign up with a +1, right underneath it, it's confirmation email addresses or something along those lines. And I believe, Doug, yes, if you put their email address in that box, they will also get the confirmation.
Yes, they will. You may have to share the project details with your friend. We're still learning our system, so I'm not sure if the system saves that confirmation email for your guest. If your guest is willing to create their own account, it means that they will get the project details and the directions directly to their email, and they can sign the electronic waiver and it gets stored, and it just helps speed things up at the beginning of the project. But if they don't feel like creating another login for something in the world, we totally understand.
Is there someplace in our profile we can see what kind of trainee we are set up, what kind of group we're in?
No, unfortunately, it doesn't show you what groups, what leader groups you're in. I think we might be sending an email that just summarizes that so you can know and then let us know if something is missing.
I have a follow-up question to that real quick. If it's been a while since we've done trainings, but like years ago I went through all the trainings, but it's been a while, especially with COVID. I'm curious to see what's new. So if I were to sign up for crew leader training in eco restoration and cooks teams, would I have to pay 2 trainings? Would it just be pay for the 1 training? How would that work? And would I have to do mentorship again?
So Heather, that's a good question. And I would say we should probably check in with Rachel. I don't think that we would, do the full training fees. A lot of time that training fee just takes care of like, the food that we're going to get for the project. And then also we have to pay a fee to the OSI training program to get those materials, even though the materials are online now, which is really cool because you can do a lot of those units at home and kind of review them on your own pace. But we do have to pay for that access. So there's kind of like a minimum that we hope to do just to kind of help cover the costs. But I am almost positive that Rachel, could work something out that fits within, your budget and that works for you and that is fair for you and honors your time as a leader. And then for the being a trainee, if you want to take it as a refresher, you wouldn't have to train again as a crew leader. You know how to do that. But if you just want a refresher in those things, if you're like, I haven't been a cook team member in a long time, maybe I could just pair up with someone at a project and team up. That's a great way to learn as well. You also might pick up a few new tricks. And then for those of you who may not have led with us last year, we do share our COVID protocols and systems with the leaders before the events and try to put those in our technical notes, because those are just like any other safety concern of lightning or poison ivy or high elevation.
So I guess on that note, are all of the like CLOs and team kickoff meetings and all that jazz, are those all going to be virtual Zoom now?
Likely.
For the time being, yes.
Likely, yeah. Once we get a little further into the summer and some restrictions change and we can also do things outdoors in the evening, some staff may provide that as an option, but we won't be asking anyone to attend in person or requiring that. We'll be encouraging you to participate remotely.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight, Katie put in the chat here, and she's correct that for those of you who have taken the trainings in the past, but it's been a while, there is a lot of new material in our new trainings. So in particular, in regard to new cook systems, as well as some specific sessions on diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. So there is new stuff. So we would encourage you to retrain if you're feeling rusty. And then I also just wanted to highlight, Peter had a question, said that when he signed up for a project, there was a line about bringing family along, and was curious what that was about. I think maybe it was in regards to bringing a +1. I'm not sure exactly.
So you can bring others with you to an event. However, we do ask you to make sure that you register with those extra people for the event, because especially during COVID, we can't really accommodate drop-ins because we do have legal group size restrictions. And also we want to make sure that we have enough tools, enough leaders, and enough safety equipment for everyone at the project. If it is specifically a family event, those group size limits for how many people you can register at once are higher, so that you could bring, a family of 4 with you. Okay. Okay, so great question from Sean about non-English users. How will they be able to access projects? this is part of our inclusivity goals, that we are trying our best to make sure that language is not a barrier to our projects. So when you go to our calendar, there will be a search feature soon that identifies which projects will have a bilingual staff person. And then we are also specifically trying to recruit, you know, even at a basic conversational level, crew leaders who do have language skills to come out on those projects. Right now, our only capacity is to focus on Spanish as a second language on our projects because it's such a big part of our community. We want to make sure to try and get more of those barriers taken down for that. And Katie, I see if you can help with translation, yes, that is great as well. We just have to finish building those projects as we set the dates.
I was going to say, just seems like something that could be added to that profile option in terms of certifications and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also earlier on your screen, Anne-Marie, when you were sharing, I thought I saw a little Espanol thing under one of the projects, but I just clicked on a random one and it doesn't have it. So I'm not quite sure how ubiquitous that is throughout the website, but it did look like there was an Espanol option in the website.
Nicole. Yeah, on every project description, there's a little button that says Espanol. It takes you to a page that just has a general description about the organization as well as links to get help. We do have multiple fluent Spanish speakers on staff this year, so we will have people that will be able to help. We'll have about 15 projects that will have bilingual populations. There's going to be a dedicated page that will take you to those that will be in Spanish that will I'll let you know which projects those are. So yeah, we're working on that. And there's also a blogger who has already done a couple of videos about his experience on projects, and those are in Spanish, so we'll be making those available as well.
Yep. So on that,
thank you to those of you who are jumping in the chat and saying you do have some sign language skills. Like, it would be great to put that into your profiles as well.
I'm taking notes. And yes, so our site does come pre-packaged, and unfortunately they don't have it translated in Spanish yet. They have it in French, so you can get some diversity in there, but not enough. We don't have enough languages in there yet for it to be fully translated. And then there was a question from Dean. The Indian Peaks projects are going to be a little different this year. They are going to be camping and overnight events, but you won't have to go into the backcountry to camp. We'll be camping in a designated area closer to the vehicles. So that's why there are no llamas.
Sorry if I disappointed anybody.
There's no llamas this year.
Cats out of the bag.
Quick question about the weeds project. So I'm poking through the weeds list, and historically they have been in the after work time frame, or at least some of them have, but it seems like all of them say 9 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. So is that really the case, or is it just because you don't know yet if they're going to be morning or evening projects?
Nope. All of our Myrtle Spurge projects this year are full day events. And the reason for that is that because we were not able to do any Myrtle Spurge events last year due to the lockdown, we're having to double up the number of projects we have. But unfortunately, the season for pulling Myrtle Spurge is not longer this year. So we're having to do more projects in the same time frame. So we've made them all full day events.
Okay, because I just know that was one of the things that got me last year, because in the leader grid, I signed up for something on like a weekday, and then it turned out to be in the morning instead of the evening, and it was like, oh, darn it. And so I had to cancel, but yeah. Okay.
They're all full day events this year.
Okay.
A lot of our seed events do flop between morning only and then some evening and after work sessions. So that's just something good to note if you're signing up for a seed project. Those time slots are kind of all over the map this year.
But what's in the, like the website has the flexibility to specify the morning or the evening, and everything that's on there is accurate. It's not a placeholder until you get more information about that day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've kind of revised that in the past. We put, you know, like save the date. We are not loading anything onto the website and allowing registrations until we have confirmation of the time. That being said, you know, in the time of COVID and working outdoors and working with, you know, 100 partners, occasionally projects will change. We are hoping, knock on wood, that we will not have as many reschedules due to the COVID factor this year as we did last season.
Quick question. I was just on the website and trying to sign up for the cook team on Saturday, March 27th. And now it says this event is reserved and it's grayed out and can't do anything on that date. So explanations?
For which date? For the training on March 27th?
For Wildlands University Cook Team training?
Huh. That's weird.
Yes.
We'll fix that. That was you, Heather, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I turned on the wait list. That was off, so that was part of the reason.
Yeah, so that's weird. It's got me actually registered and waitlisted on the same day. Okay, well, you know, there's always bugs. It's always fun.
Okay, so sorry, what's the timeline for the leader thingy to come out, or will we just be notified by email or what?
Yeah, we'll send an email when the leader grid is out. It's a very big project to rebuild it, feeding in with new data from a new system. So David and I are working on that. We'll get it out to you all as soon as we can.
So Heather, you should be able to go into that one now. Okay, and was that KD who said you were?
Yeah, that was me. It was interesting. I was looking at that too because it had me actually waitlisted. Anyway, I just canceled out of the waitlist one, but it was interesting that it allowed that. So.
That was for the March 27th also?
Yeah, yeah. Because I was doing cooking, it had me on the waitlist for Myrtle Spurge.
Oh, KD, what happened is that date changed.
The date changed, okay.
So that's why.
Fun.
Yeah, we were gonna contact you about that date change. And Mark Henschman, if you're still on, we have a date change for you.
Same date change. The project that was originally scheduled for March 20th, Myrtle Spurge, it's actually March 27th. But we do still need crew leaders. And that is a Thursday now, not a Saturday. So it's a little different.
Wait, which day is it?
March 27th, I think.
Is a March 27th is a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Okay, never mind. It's the opposite. Thursday to Saturday. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're both Saturdays. Because there's too many dates in my brain. Just don't listen. Just confusing things.
And Mark, to clarify,
this is Sheila, a very basic question. So all of the projects beyond training and leadership roles, they'll be available to the general public when?
now. Today's the first day.
Yep.
Today.
So now?
Now. Okay.
Now. Yes.
All right.
They
So
are
spread the
open.
word.
We just didn't send out our big celebratory email to you yet because we were waiting for our data to be imported so that our 20 years of data in the other system could get more well organized in the new system.
Right.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Hey, y'all do it, trust me. You got it.
India, we are working on adding more fire restoration projects to the schedule. I mean, we do already have 18, 19, but we have quite a lot already, but we're being asked by some partners if we can do more. So we're kind of looking at our capacity. It's hard to say no when it's disaster response in our backyard. But this year, you know, we've got, I think, a record number training going through Wildlands University, so that we've got a great number of new leaders coming through. So that's awesome to see. And we are on track to have, the biggest volunteer mobilization effort of any organization in the state again this year. So really kudos to the community and all of you.
I have a question regarding fire restoration projects. So I have a 4-year-old daughter. Is that something that would be appropriate to bring her on? It's something she's very interested in.
So every project has a listed minimum age, which you can see at the bottom of the event description. A 4-year-old would not be allowed onto a fire restoration project. There are a lot of hazards in those places. There can be hazard trees, things like that. But if you go into the family-friendly tab of the website, you can see projects that do have lower minimum ages.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You bet, Ashley.
Just a heads up on those family opportunities. I'm actually going through them now. A lot of them are full. So I'm readily signing my son and I up for things that on dates that work for us. So just a heads up if you're looking to do that.
We will be adding more family projects too.
There's going to be a lot more youth specific and family projects coming together, but they involve a really great array of partners. So there's quite a few email strings going around to confirm those dates. So, but again, you know, when we do have those family projects launched, we'll include that in the project details. And if you're a leader, you'll just get the leader version of those details.
So 2 questions from Dean. Do you need to take the fire restoration training to be a crew leader on those projects? No, it's certainly there. It's suggested. It's not required. So certainly if you're already a crew leader, we will orient you what you need to know at the event. But it's encouraged if you're able to get that extra training. You know, as you know, we do kind of rely on our crew leaders to kind of help each other out. And so we're just offering those opportunities to kind of give some of our crew leaders a head start so that we can really hit the ground running when those fire restoration series start here shortly. And also a question from Eric about crosscut projects. If you go on, you will see that all the crosscut projects are have wait list. That does not mean that they are full. The way it works is the only way right now you can sign up for a crosscut project is if you have a crosscut sawyer certification in our system. So if you are going through training or if you haven't gone through training but are kind of interested in the 6-foot-long saw, the way it works is go ahead and add yourself to the wait list. We do have capacity to take a few untrained saw assistants. The way that works is just as we have certified sawyers with the B certification to pair you with, then we will invite you off the wait list. So yes, Eric and anyone interested in crosscut, yeah, just that's the way it works. So those projects are not full, but we, if you're not already trained, you need to go through the wait list, and that just allows us to manage the capacity there.
So Kevin, so for folks who are wanting to sign up or wondering if they should take the training, if the projects all look full, should they just reach out to the staff person listed there to make sure?
Yeah, for Crosscut, you can reach out to Nate. He's listed as the contact, and just make sure. Yeah, unfortunately, we were going to add a couple more Crosscut projects, but this year, but the Colorado Parks and Recreation state parks, their funding got cut, and they were going to fund some of our projects, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Eric, I saw your question about that too. So I would recommend, if you do want to register for Crosscut training, go ahead and register. You can always cancel before you submit your payment. And then I think what Nate and I will probably do is we can look at how many people we have doing training, and then just move you from those projects into, you know, a Crosscut role, because we have to make sure that you do the training before going to the event. So, and then there was a question from Heather. So if someone is looking to do a leadership role with us, a good one I would say to start with is the crew leader training. It really gives you the skills that you need. And if you would rather do the environmental restoration focus, you learn a few more techniques focused on that. If you're more interested in the trail restoration piece of it and impacts of trails on the ecosystem, go for that. However, you can also then mentor, you know, on a trail project if you've only done the ecological restoration training, and that will help you build those technical skills, or vice versa.
For anyone looking to sign up for those trainings, do we know how many spaces there are left at Wildlands University? I know those projects or their trainings are getting really full.
I was just looking at the trainings page.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So we do have on March 13th, the seeds and weeds crew leader training is going to be a mixture of seeds and weeds and ecological restoration. So that's a really great one to take. And there's 4 slots open on March 13th. Wow.
Yeah.
That'll be me and Greg and Barb teaching seeds and weeds.
Yeah. And then we have March 27th for ecological restoration crew leader, tool manager on the 27th. And then we have trails on the 27th, and both crew leader positions open on the 28th. So it looks like March 27th and 28th have the most spaces open.
Except for cook training.
Yeah, cook training is full, which is fabulous.
There's not a crew leader in a crew leader training on the 13th, even though it was posted. That, or I'm not seeing it on the website. Is it hidden, or
it's the one marked seed and weed crew leader. That day is gonna have some focus on native seeds and noxious weeds, but it is the ecological restoration crew leader training on March 13th. And then just the basic ecological restoration crew leader training without the seeds focus, those are open on the 27th and the 28th of March.
People are just voracious for projects this year. We've had so many things fill up so fast.
And there's been a lot of thank yous and kudos for how the calendar looks. I want to give a shout out to Kevin. He has been designing that and making the nuances. So you can compliment him for everything that looks good. And if there's mistakes in the details of the projects, you can just blame that on me.
Yeah, don't blame me there for that.
Once I was clicking like to enter 150 projects, at some point my brain just stopped functioning. So. And I just want to say welcome to all of the new crew leaders. I know we crew leaders and trainees, and congrats to those of you who want to retrain. Continuing education is incredible. If some of you leaders do want to, there are some trainings that we have added for leaders for our DEI initiatives. One is on practicing tough conversations, like how to kind of like say the things that are uncomfortable and awkward and might not come out right, how to practice that and how to frame them. And then if you sign up for one of those as well, we have a prep session that we pre-recorded that we can share with you too. So those are the microaggressions and tough conversations. Don't hesitate to join a waitlist for those because we can open it up to more folks. So if it's waitlisted, sign up for those DEI trainings. We'd love to have you.
So is it not a standalone dedicated day-long training like it's been in the past? Is it just the 2 short sessions and that's it, or?
Yeah, so you could sign up for one or the other. It's going to be the same session. It's an interactive session, so you can just choose which one, and it's not a full day. It's just those couple of hours. And if you sign up for one of those, we'll share the pre-recorded session with you, which I think was about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And
okay,
everyone
yeah.
coming to Wildlands University this year is also doing those trainings. So if you sign up for one of those microaggression trainings and tough conversations, those live sessions, you will actually be in there with all of the Wildlands University trainees as well. So there will probably be close to between 40 to 60 people in each of those. And there will be small breakout groups and interactive. It's going to be really, really cool.